Much for paucity of time. I thought a long introduction is really not warranted at this time of the evening. And so, in fact, as a result of that, I will also cut short on the intro which I had planned for Sudhir. He has a very nice and interesting biodata, but I think it'll be far better to listen to his story rather than me stand here and narrate all about him. And it's great that we have him here, and we've had a wonderful 2 days of interaction, and certainly we have a large number of our delegates who are still virtually attending it, and so they're all keenly looking forward to your talk. Sudhir, can I invite you on stage, and without any further ado, I'll do a very quick intro on Sudhir, and a very interesting topic. COVID failed my business model, but not the entrepreneur in me. This is the topic, and he's a very known, prominent figure in the media circles, particularly in Karnataka. There's a lot of TV shows and regular feature. When I spoke to some of my friends in Bangalore, they all know him as a very prominent face there. He's the founder and CEO of IndianMoney.com, India's largest financial education company. Holds a strong vision to serve the nation by spreading financial literacy. In fact, he is one of the pioneers in that over the last probably a dozen odd years. He's been one of the people who are the flag bearers of spreading wisdom through his portals and through his talks and through lectures at all levels, and talks about financial literacy and about financial security and various aspects. And I'm really not, there are several bullet points which I have. I'll just skip all that and invite Sudhir over to talk and probably sum up once he finishes his talk. It's a very interesting presentation for all of us. Over to you, Sudhir.
Thanks, Vivek. First of all, thanks, TiE Kerala, for inviting me again. I was here just before COVID, 2019, October, to share my winning strategies to scale business. And now I'm here to share my story on how COVID failed my business, which I scaled for almost 12 years. I started Indian Money back in 2008. I started Indian Money because I come from a small village, about 350 kilometers from Bangalore. And when I came to Bangalore for job, I took up a job as a salesperson in an insurance company. While working with an insurance company, I was like, making good money. So I was happy about all that. But then I started witnessing a lot of instances where people were misled by agents and salespeople. So I was like, how do I stop this? That's when I thought of venturing into a financial education company. And I started Indian Money in 2008, September. And when I launched IndianMoney.com, I really didn't have a business model. I didn't know how do I make money? But then I knew one thing, that I have to solve this large problem of financial illiteracy in India, because as per various reports, anywhere between 75 to 85% people in India are not financially savvy. And in fact, when I started back in 2008, even the regulators were not talking about financial education in India. In fact, in 2010, Reserve Bank of India came up with National Strategy for Financial Education. And we started even before that. And as a financial education company, can I go to the next slide? Sorry. Can I move to the, oh yeah. So just before this. Right. So when I met this auto driver who lost about 25,000 rupees because of mis-selling, I started Indian Money, and I was figuring out how do I build a business around it. So then I thought, why not setting up a helpline for financial education where people can call us and take advice on various money, related things and investments aspects. And we started a helpline. People started giving missed call on the helpline those days when the calling rates were high. Then I thought, why don't we convert that into a missed call number? And we made it a missed call number. People started leaving missed call. And you won't believe, when I was speaking here in 2019, October. We were educating about 36,000 people a day on call, every day. And the business model was very simple. I was educating 36,000 people on call and producing about 6,000 leads for various financial products and selling it on my platform called Lead Market. We were supplying leads to about 30,000 plus agents who were dealing with financial products and other, like insurance, mutual fund, loans across India. And by educating about 36,000 people in 9 different languages in India, we became absolutely #1 financial education company. We were recognized by the World Bank. We were invited by Prime Minister's office to educate Jan Dhan account holders right after the launch of Jan Dhan program. And we helped Government of India to educate Jan Dhan account holders through our platform. All that happened. And then my dream was to build a large company. If I have to be, a very specific, a multi-billion-dollar company. But then we knew very clearly that just by giving financial education to people and selling leads, I'll not be able to build a large company. What is the way forward? How do we build a large company? That's when I thought, why don't we venture into insurance broking business? Because out of the 6,000 leads we were generating, about almost 65 to 70% leads were for insurance. So we applied for broking license with IRDA, and we got the broking license in 2019 February. And we invested about $2 million into that vertical. We hired a separate CEO, about 300 plus people into the team. But then the unit economics were not making sense because of various regulatory issues, challenges. In fact, IRDA has made it so complicated to run insurance broking business that it's not viable. And most of these funded startups who are venturing into it, just because of the funding they've raised, they're able to sustain. Otherwise, very difficult to run insurance broking business because they've got something called zero commission products. When you're selling a zero commission products, you actually you don't get any commission officially. And if you want to get commission, insurance companies pay to some other company. You have to route that money into your company. Lot of issues, and I was not okay with it. And then we were literally spending 3 rupees to earn 1 rupee. And after about 7 months, after losing 12 crore rupee plus money in that business, I informed my board that I won't continue with it. And by October beginning, we decided, 2019 October, we decided not to run this business anymore. And by then again, I was back to square one. How do I build a multi-billion-dollar business? By educating people on financial products. So then we thought, why don't we charge people for content? Because all those days we were giving free content. So why don't we charge people for content? Then we were not really sure whether people will pay for content. So if you can move to the next slide. Yeah. So then I launched something called Financial Freedom Workshop. Since I was good in training and all that, I thought, why don't we launch Financial Freedom Workshop? So that's basically a day-long workshop where people used to pay me 3,000 rupees per person. About 300 people used to come in a huge auditorium. I conducted about 28 workshops until the first week of March. Almost when the COVID cases were raising in 2020 March, I had to stop it. And by conducting these 28 workshops, I met 7,000 person face to face. By meeting these 7,000 people, I realized one thing. It is not that people didn't know how to manage money. They didn't know how to make money. So the challenge, all those people who came, they're mostly small farmers, small business people. They were talking about, I've got 3 acre land. I'm not able to earn even a lakh rupee annually. I'm running a small business. I really don't know how long I'll be able to run it because the competition is going up. I will have to close this business. So we thought, can we add livelihood education to what we are doing already? So we added livelihood education. So we thought of building financial and livelihood education app. And we launched Financial Freedom app, Indian Money's Freedom app, on 20th of March, 2020. So when I launched Financial Freedom app, can you move to the next slide? Yeah. When I launched Financial Freedom app on the 20th of March, 2020, the whole idea was very simple. that those who have access to knowledge and opportunities become rich. So I'm sure all of you agree with me that if you have access to knowledge and opportunities, you become rich. If you don't have it, you remain poor. And today, India is, divided between India and Bharat, primarily because of it. So now, in fact, I firmly believe, I think when Ambedkar ji, when they designed the Constitution of India, they introduced reservation. Many of us have disagreement with a reservation is not required today. But I think then, if reservation wouldn't have been given, India would have been probably 10 countries by now, right? Because they gave reservation, those who were not even allowed inside a home today, they have become collectors, they become chief ministers, they become prime ministers. That's the power of reservation. But then can you give reservation in private sector? Can you give reservation in farming? That's not possible. So what is the way out? Giving giving access to high quality knowledge and opportunities to everyone. That's what we wanted to do. And we launched Financial Freedom App as a financial and livelihood education app. And when we launched the app, we were like very happy. Okay, the core business is anyway doing good. Financial Freedom App, the app is also launched now. We will be able to achieve our dream of building a multi-billion-dollar business. Then the next thing happened. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. Then the lockdown happened. My core business, which was doing about 5 crore rupee monthly revenue, it was like a cash cow. I was making good margin. Everything was autopilot mode. It was growing by almost 8-10% month on month. We were doubling our revenues every year. That was going pretty smooth. I had built this business over a period of almost 11 plus years. And we were very happy that, okay, everything is smooth now. And the lockdown was announced and my business came down to zero. You may wonder why suddenly. I mean, how can this happen? I was selling all these leads, almost 6,000 leads a day, about 5 crore rupee worth leads every month to individual agents and salespeople who are distributing financial products across the country. When the lockdown was announced, they were not able to freely move around. And especially most of these agents and distributors who distribute financial products, as you know, all these insurance agents and all mostly aged above 40, 45, 50. And they were more worried about the COVID risk, right? Hence, they stopped moving around and they stopped purchasing leads from me. My revenue literally came down to zero. I was like, blank, what do I do now? We had set of cost. We had a large team working out there and we had fixed expenses, a lot of rental expenses, and our revenue literally went down to zero. And the funding we raised before that in 2018, early 2018, we had raised $3 million and that was almost getting over. And we were like, how do we manage? And fortunately, our investors came in our support, but we took a very important decision that day. That was to understand what may happen in the financial services distribution space in the future. That was very, very important. I think that decision, that analysis gave us the complete understanding of what we should do in the future. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So what happened when we started understanding the agents who used to buy leads from us, they were mainly distributing car insurance, term insurance, and mostly loans and some other financial products, especially mutual fund, things like that. But because of COVID, people started purchasing the basic insurance products, health, term, car insurance online. And when they moved online, automatically these agents became jobless. And they were only trying to sell endowment plans and money back plans, which we were dead against. We were very clear that we should not encourage people to buy endowment plans, ULIP plans, and money back plans, because that's not a good investment at all. And then we were like, if the market which we are dependent on, if they don't exist tomorrow, we won't exist. What do we do? So that kill the holy cow movement happened. We decided the business we built for last 11, 12 years, let's kill it. We literally killed it. You won't believe. Probably we could have revived it. The one which was doing 5 crore revenue might not have done 5 crore immediately, would have done some 3-4 crore once the lockdown was over. But then we decided, no, we won't run it anymore. We killed the business completely, deployed the entire machinery to work on financial freedom app. And today, next slide, please. Yeah. We built financial freedom app. Today, financial freedom app has overtaken the 12-year-old business in terms of revenue. And we did it in just 20 months. In 20 months, we built a new company, literally a new product, of course, with the same company. And it is doing far better than what we were doing by working for last 12 years. And Financial Freedom App has got total of 470 courses currently across personal finance, business, and farming. And these courses are taught by super successful people. People like Dr. Devi Shetty teaching how to build a healthcare business. We have got the transportation tycoon of India, Vijay Sankeshwar of VRL Group, teaching how to build an IPO company. Or the financial freedom workshop I was conducting has become a course now on the app. It is called Financial Freedom Course. And then we have partnered with ICAR, Indian Council for Agriculture Research, to create courses on various technologies they have developed for food processing. So, for example, a farmer harvests tomato. Sometimes tomato, people won't buy it for even 1 rupee a kg, 2 rupee a kg. Currently, we are almost paying 100 rupee a kg. Farmers don't get the required price all the time. So, but ICAR has developed technology to process it and extract pulp out of it and powder to make powder from tomato. So now what do? We have now partnered with them to create courses on this and to transfer this technology to farmers directly and help them process their produce directly in the farm or immediately after the harvest. And this is something what we are working with. Then we are working with University of Agriculture Sciences across the country. There are 63 universities. We're working with them to create courses on the fundamentals of farming: water, manure, soil, diseases, and the climate. Because many farmers in India, so we don't get this fundamental education, though about 58% of Indian population is dependent on farming. Though I studied for literally 17 years from LKG to graduation and then post-graduation, I never got this education, right? And unless until you study BSc AG or MSc AG kind of degrees, you don't get to learn about the fundamentals of farming. But all of us have some piece of land back at home. How do we manage it? So we have now developed courses on fundamentals of farming. Things like how do you test the soil? What kind of manure to be added? All that is being done in the app now. And these courses are being taught by the authority in that subject. The scientists and the professors who teach in agriculture universities are directly teaching. I think I must thank the technology for making these things possible. So today, Indian Money's Financial Freedom App has got courses on, let's say now sheep and goat farming. About 16 courses we have got around sheep and goat farming. And these 16 courses are taught by those farmers who are earning anywhere between 1 crore to 5 crore annually just by, doing sheep and goat farming. These farmers are teaching. It is not by common people. And then similar way, we've got farmers who are teaching pomegranate farming. This guy is earning about 1.5 crore annually just by doing pomegranate farming. There is a course called How to Earn 1 lakh rupee per month from 1 acre of agricultural land. This is being taught by the founder of Organic Mandya, which is a well-known organization in Karnataka. They've now got branches outside Karnataka as well. He was a software engineer working in the US. He came back to India and started this Organic Mandya. And he has developed a model where a farmer can earn 1 lakh rupee from just 1 acre of land every month by doing natural farming, zero budget farming. And this is practically shown on our app now. So we use high quality cameras. We built a great studio in the office. Now we've converted our office into a media company literally. And we are able to create that kind of content. And all these courses which we have designed today are available in 6 languages: Kannada, English, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam. And you may ask, how do we do this? So some courses we shoot original content. For example, we find a mentor in Kochi, who is very good in something, we shoot it in Malayalam, then dub it into Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, English. Or we shoot some course in Hindi and dub it into other languages. So if a cinema can be dubbed and watched by people across the country, why not these success stories? And the problem in India is when you think of, like a Padman, you think of Akshay Kumar. You think of Super 30, probably you think of Hrithik Roshan. When you think of Shakuntala Devi, you think of Vidya Balan, right? But we don't get to hear the real heroes. Why don't we promote them? So the whole concept of the app is, can we promote these real heroes directly to people? And they tell their stories, they narrate. And the problem with our education system is also that we never got to hear first, we never got to get, we never got first-hand information, first-hand knowledge. Like someone achieves something, someone hears about it, someone writes a book about it, someone else will read that book and they teach this book to us. We never got the first-hand information. But today, technology has made this possible. Why don't we make those successful people to teach directly to millions of people across the country? And dubbing is possible. And the quality of dubbing is, the dubbing, whatever we have done in the app, is being done by those cinema dubbing studios who dub Mohanlal sir's movie or Mammootty sir's movie to Kannada or Hindi. The same dubbing studios are dubbing, and the quality of dubbing is super. So what we have done is, we've just organized everything which is available out there. We've not done any innovation, I think, I would say. And today, because we have done all that, we've got 37 lakh users across the country using the app. And this happened in 18 months. In 18 months, we went from 0 users to 37 lakh users. And we are adding about 30,000 new users every day. And our marketing budget is almost zero. I mean, like, we don't really spend much money. And you know why? Okay, you're using? Very nice. Thank you. So can you please move to the next slide? So in this roller coaster journey of last 18, 20 months, the first lesson I learned is a crisis is not an end. So when this happened to me, like the business which I built over a period of 12 years, that was my most productive age, right? I started Indian Money when I was 22. And that most productive age, whatever I gave, and that business was overnight. And I realized that crisis came for a good reason. This is called blessing in disguise. I was not able to imagine $1 billion business with that old model. But now we are there, we are getting there. That's the power of this shift which happened. So I believe that a crisis is not an end, and it's just the beginning. And the second and most important thing is credibility is valuable than valuation. For me, what really worked and how this 37 lakh people came is because today I have about 1.8 million people who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. My Kannada channel is about 1 million subscribers, and Telugu has about 3 lakh change, and Tamil about close to 4 lakh. Similar way, all channels have got subscribers. So this 18 lakh subscribers was my ready market. And this we built over a period of last 4 or 5 years by giving them high quality content. We never compromised with anything like cryptocurrency thing. Now this cryptocurrency mafia was luring me with a lot of money to promote it on our channels. Lot of money they offered, but we never compromised. We didn't even promote cryptocurrency with one video. We always said cryptocurrency is a scam. It's a mafia. Don't invest. I mean, we stood by our values. We never compromised. And because of that, today people believe in what we do. That is very, very important. And I think the other things is our Facebook page. That gives us about almost 1 million followers on Facebook, and we've got good reach. And other thing was my media connections. I've been writing a column in #1 Kannada newspaper for the last 4.5 years. And that column, every Monday, it goes out to people, about 7 lakh plus circulation and about 50 lakh plus readership. And that gave me good reach in Karnataka. And then I was working with CNN. I was hosting a show on CNN for about 2.5 years called Money Doctor Show. And that show, just a 5-minute show every morning, sharing one money tip. And that gave me a lot of visibility, and we never compromised with what we were communicating. We never promoted any product. We were only educating. That credibility again helped me. Same thing I was doing on Republic for a year, hosting a show called Financial Freedom Show for a year. So these things really helped us to get that confidence, and without really spending much money in marketing, we were able to win the customers. And the credibility the other way again with my investors. My investors knew very well that, okay, by backing him, he will be able to leverage all his learnings and rebuild the company. And they supported me. We raised $3 million in Series A, and we were supposed to raise the Series B. We were in talks with different investors to raise $20 million, but that didn't happen. But my existing investors came in support of me, and they gave me $4 million and said, don't worry, just rebuild this business. We'll raise more money later. And we got $4 million from existing investors in terms of crisis at the same valuation, without losing 1 rupee valuation, believe me. And this $4 million came at the same pre-COVID valuation when my revenue became zero. And that is the kind of credibility I think you must have, because without that, this wouldn't have happened. And the third lesson is any business model for that matter. I think a business model may fail, because of various things. COVID came this time, next time a regulatory change or anything, right, may happen. But then entrepreneur in us should not fail. Because for me, the kind of struggle I went through almost 13 years back in 2008-9 period when I started Indian Money. I was single. I was not married that time, and no family. I had no commitments. I was able to, I used to live in my friend's room and manage myself. And I was able to commit myself to business. But this time, when these things happened, I have a family. I've got 3 kids. And a big responsibility. My son is my eldest son is 10-year-old now, and I've got my school, kids going to school. There are a lot of committed expenditures, but then we were able to sail through it just because of that entrepreneurial spirit. Because if you believe in the cause, don't compromise with the path. I mean, it's okay. It's just that the hardship you'll have to go through. Never bother about it. The hardship is only going to make you strong. And I'll tell you, I had my own relatives disowned me during this period. They were like, okay, he's gone, he's finished. Some of my team members thought he's finished. But you will have to stand strong and say that, when you have that close group of people who believe in you, just take them into confidence, go ahead and make things big, it'll happen. And I'm the real example. Today, we are now like receiving interest from investors to invest in Indian Money. We're like holding back, wait, we just want to raise when we need. And the factor is my investor, Mr. Shashi Reddy, who invested in Series A, stood very strong. He said, Sudhir, I'll be your co-founder now. An investor coming on board as a co-founder. I'm a single founder company. And this time, my investor came in as a co-founder and executive chairman in the company. And he stood with me and said, let's build it. So as long as you have that belief in yourself and the belief in your cause, I think nothing really matters. And we've come this far. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Great sharing my journey with you all. Thank you.
What a wonderful exposition and what a lovely story. So these are the kind of tales which we would all love to hear. And this gives goosebumps for, I'm sure, many of the delegates who are watching you. And you've really lived the theme of TiECon Kerala this year, of despite the pandemic. And I think he deserves a much louder applause than that. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. We are running out of time. So Q&A, I'm sure you can connect directly to him. He's a very prominent figure available. And I'm sure he would come back to any of us if we reach out to him. His mail ID and all his collaterals, I'm sure, can be collected from the organizers. With these words, on behalf of both of us, let me thank all the organizers of TiE and invite the organizing host back. Thank you.